G'day guys, Mac with the Outer Circle, and in today's episode, I want to ask you guys a question. Because they dropped a new champion console, but I joke that it's not really the champion console. To me, it looks more like a Void Grenadier in Exo Armour, as opposed to Mark III Space Marine, because it doesn't feel like a Games Workshop sculpt. It looks like when someone is trying to copy a Games Workshop design as closely as they can, but they change it just enough that they can't get sued. And it's really weird to look at. It doesn't mean I hate the model, but it's a clearly different design aesthetic. And my question to you, as you may have caught on to in the teaser, is why are they changing things so much? Now, I'm not against change as a principle, but for, 15 years almost? Maybe 13 years? Mark III, among other things, has looked like this. And, well, now it looks like this. And it's a bit weird because they didn't change anything else in the game except for the power armor in this edition, and I'm not sure why that decision has taken place. That is my question to you, the audience. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that the tanks look the same, the knights look the same, the dreadnoughts look the same, the terminators haven't been touched, but for some reason, all of the power armor needs to be redone? Is it because there is competition from the 3D market, because 3D printers have got basically identical sculpts now to Games Workshop sculpts in the 3D marketplace? I mean, maybe, but at the same time, the new Mark III has already been copied and hasn't even released yet, and there are people who are already using that in their armies, and we also have things like Epic. They're doing a big Epic release for Warhammer the Horus Heresy, and yeah, there are Epic STLs everywhere online, and people have huge armies that they've 3D printed. And so the question can't be that. It can't be that they've changed the armor to try and get rid of the competition. That doesn't make sense in my mind. Why would they create something like this, which is recognizable and yet so divergent? And I don't want to hear the excuse, like an in-universe excuse, like, oh, it's Artificer armor. I'm asking for a tangible out-of-universe, a reason why all of the artwork, why everything like that gets negated, and it's as if the old iron armor never existed. This is now the iron armor. Is it because there was one set of sculpts in the early 1990s, or some obscure artwork in a trading card game that looked kind of like this, and so them reusing that canonizes it? I don't know what it is. But it's a very curious case, because I label this release, like I said, don't hate it. I'm very, very lukewarm neutral in this case. But I've labeled it as polarizing because that's exactly what I'm seeing, is a huge polarization in the community. And I saw it within moments of this model being previewed last night, because I was in a stream with friends and I was sharing my screen of this model. 3 of us went, what the hell is that? That looks like a third-party knockoff with a bunch of Age of Sigmar parts on it. And 2 other people in the chat said, we love it. And then I went on to Facebook, onto YouTube, into different comment sections, and I looked at what people were saying, and it was exactly the same stuff. Half the people saying, this is amazing, this is the best model they've released yet for Heresy 2.0, and the other half doing the Krusty the Clown. What the hell was that?
What the hell was that?
I'm not going to say that makes it a bad sculpt, because, like I said, I don't think it's a bad sculpt. But it's definitely quirky. I think we can all agree on that. And it's a little bit weird how they're selling it. They're selling it as a trader console, and yet this clearly has sculpted on Eye of Horus logo in the center of the belt buckle. Was this originally meant to be a Sons of Horus miniature, and they've just dialed it back slightly to call it a Legion Champion? Again, there are confusing decisions here, and I'm really curious what you, the community, the viewers of this channel, have to say about it. Because I know some of you will absolutely adore it, but I guarantee there are people who feel the exact opposite way. And I don't think there's going to be many people who are too stuck in the middle like myself, because I'm very in the middle on this. I think I adore the bottom half of it, but I despise the top half of it, especially the backpack, which looks like something off a Gundam or a Primaris Marine with these weird multifaceted nacelles, and there'll be someone who pops up and says, oh, Macca, you gotta understand this is Artificer armor, it was a handmade suit, and that's why it looks completely different to everything else. Okay, I guess it's the same thing then. If I make a Ferrari out of bricks, it's still a Ferrari, right? It's just a weird thing. And I can't help but notice that little symbol in the middle of its chest looks like a cat, like a kitten, like a cat with no face. And now I just can't help but picture the Hello Kitty Marine. It's weird. There's some weird design quirks here. And I'm curious. You guys, tell me what you think. What is going on here? Why is it that all of the dreadnoughts, the tanks, all the Terminators, Knights, why does that all look identical to the previous editions? Why are those sculpts good enough? And yet, and all the artwork that's been created up to this date is all of the other type of Mark III, and yet there is a need to change everything to this style of Mark III. I'm just curious, genuinely. I don't think there is a right or wrong answer here, by the way. This is not any kind of like condescension. You tell me, community. No, I'm like legit. I can't reach for the answer here, because it's like, what do they want to make it so that are they paying royalties to Forge World? They don't want to pay royalties to them to use the old Mark III design, so they've come with something new. Is it easier to mold? That would be where I immediately go to my headspace as a production point. It's easier to cast these than to cast other types of plastic. That would make more sense. There's nothing stopping them from having reproportioned or slightly adjusted the old Mark III plate. This is a completely different armor plate. What is the reasoning? Genuinely curious to see. Anyway, back with the Outer Circle. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode.